All right. You can go first, and then maybe we'll play one of the fellows. We'll kind of mix it around with that. But you can go ahead, get in there. You got the floor. Take it away.
All right. Well, we'll start with the West Coast just because we'll go in the same order we started out with. But with the Stars and Knights, this one was a little bit difficult for me. But I think the Stars got this one just because how dominant they've been. I think the Knights kind of put their team and their success together at kind of the last moment. And I think it's a little too late. I feel like some of the players are maybe satisfied that have won a cup. But I think the Stars are so hungry. I think it's like this year or nothing for the Stars. So I'm going with the Stars. Going with the Jets and Avs. This is another very difficult matchup that I had a hard time deciding. I think both of these teams have had great years, but I do think Winnipeg is going to come out on top on this. I do think having that, because I believe they have they have that home team advantage. So they have home ice first. I think the wideout is going to be huge in Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
I could see them taking those first couple games, maybe at least splitting them. But I think that's going to be huge for the Jets in this series, is starting off the series with success. And I think they should be able to take this series, even though the Avalanche are very good. I do think their goaltending, the Avs goaltending, has kind of fallen behind with Georgiev, even though he's a great goalie. But I think that might be the deciding factor, is Hellebuyck versus Georgiev. Yeah. Going on to the Canucks and Predators. I think Smashville is going to be rocking no matter what. But I do see the Canucks taking this. Canucks all the way for this. I just think they've had such a good season. Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, they're going to be lights out in the playoffs too. I think this is kind of Quinn Hughes' time to shine. He hasn't had a lot of playoff games under his belt. So for him to go into, I want to say is this the first playoffs he's been in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Canucks haven't made it.
I mean, he's such a good player. To see him and see what the world's going to see what he can do in the playoffs I think he's going to be good. So I think the Canucks are going to be driven by their players, not as much as their goaltending, which could be a deciding factor down the road. But yeah, taking the Canucks for that series. And then we got Oilers and Kings. I seriously think that the Oilers are going to take this, unfortunately. As a Flames fan, this hurts for me to say, but I just don't think the Kings are all that this year. This series does tell me it's like this could be playoff hockey and watch the Kings win in 5 or something, but I'd put my money on the Oilers just because they have such a good team on paper in terms of McDavid and Draisaitl. But those are my picks for the West. Do you want to go for your picks on the West? And then we can just go.
No, you can keep going.
Keep going.
I'm going to make this. Yeah, you're good.
With the East Coast, I got the Panthers and Lightning. This one was a little bit hard for me too. I know the Panthers are out for blood, but I do think the Lightning are going to take this series. With that being said, I do think Vasilevsky is going to be one of the deciding factors. I do think that the Lightning have just a little bit better of a defense this year. And I think Victor Hedman's going to be definitely leading that charge. But having a player like Kucherov on your team and having all the playoff experience that this team has had, I think they're going to get revenge on the Panthers this year. So I'm going with the Lightning. Going in the Bruins and Leafs, I do think the Leafs are going to take this. I do think Canadian teams are going to succeed in the playoffs this year. And I really do think that the Leafs have gone so many years in the playoffs with getting just dogged on, and people are saying they're going to get out in the first round. I think this year they're going to show that this streak is over. And the Bruins, even though they're a good team, I do think that the Leafs will come out on top. And I just feel like Austin Matthews is having such a good year. It's got to happen. He's got to show up in the playoffs. So taking the Leafs for that series. Then we got the Rangers Caps. With this series, I think this is pretty apparent who's going to win. I think the Rangers are going to steamroll them. I think it should be a sweep, if not in 5 games. I just don't think the Capitals should really be in the playoffs necessarily. But I also would think that, it's the playoffs. Who knows what's going to happen? I also think the Rangers are kind of coming with vengeance from last season, getting out so early. So going with the Rangers in there, and then we got the Canes and Islanders. I think the Canes are going to take this series pretty easily, 5 or 6 games. They've had a great season too. Freddie Anderson's been good. I feel like Sorokin's kind of been carrying the Islanders. Same with their coaching. So I just feel like the Canes, they got this. I don't have too much insight on why, but I just have a gut feeling that the Canes are going to take this. So that's my first round predictions.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
We'll give the second later. I'm going to play our resident Vegas Golden Knight fan, the cheater, the LTIR circumventer, Zooch. He's going to give his picks. He sent in a video to us so we can watch, and for you guys too. So there we go.
Here on the Good Old Hockey Podcast, after looking at my booklet of NHL information, Jack Eichel on the cover, I'm going to give out my first round picks. Starting in the West, Knights in 6. I mean, come on, Peter DeBoer, give me a break. He's not beating the Knights. He just gets fired all the time. Then I have the Winnipeg Jets in 7 games over the Avalanche. I know McKinnon's had a great year, but don't trust the goaltending situation. They lost to Seattle last year, and their fans are losers. Jets in 7. Then, sorry, Vancouver fans, but those dorks who released that rat video made me go Preds in 6. Haven't watched a ton of the Predators this year. Really couldn't name a ton of people on their team, but Preds in 6. Once again, sorry, Canadian fans, but Edmonton, your goalies still suck. You have, I'll say, like 4 really good players. Obviously, you have the top 2, best player in the league. But once we get to your 3rd and 4th lines in goaltending, Stuart Skinner isn't it. But I will let you get to 7 games, but Kings in 7. To the East, the Battle of Florida. There are Panthers fans out there. While few, they are there. That series versus the Lightning should be pretty good. I feel like the Lightning are a little bit underrated, but I'm going to go Panthers in 6 on that one. Team Matthew Tkachuk. Boston versus Toronto. I think we all remember a game about a decade or so ago. Toronto up 4-1 with like 4 minutes left. Blew it against the Bruins. But since then, the Bruins have kind of blown some things themselves. They had the Chicago series that they gave up 2 goals in the last like 45 seconds or whatever that was. Blew it against the Blues. Had 1 million wins last year and blew it against the Florida Panthers. So I'm actually probably going to come back to bite me in the ass, going Leafs in 6. Moving on down, Rangers in 4. Love Ovi, but Rangers in 4. Then Carolina versus the Islanders. I told Sean a few weeks ago, he can look in his text. I will send in proof if I have to. I predicted the Islanders to make it in the playoffs. They did. So I'm going Islanders in 7 for the first round. It's all right here and right here.
All right. Well, that was good. Some good picks. The resident, he did like the whole Knights, their corny ass little videos that they do chasing after the cup, but he did call that the Islanders were going to make the playoffs. I'll give him that, but I'll give my picks. All right. This has been tough, but starting off Dallas and Rangers, Dallas and Knights. I'm sorry, Vegas. I don't think it's your year again. Last year you had a great year. You had a lucky break breezing through the West, and then had a hurt team out in the East in the Florida Panthers that earned it. And this year it's going to bite you in the ass, and the Stars are going to win that. I'm going to go in 6 games. Now, Winnipeg and Colorado, I know everyone wants to pick Winnipeg. Yes, they've had a better season, but Colorado has more experience in the playoffs, especially deep runs, and it's hard to bet on Nathan McKinnon. So I'm going to go Avs in 7. It's going to be a long series. After that, Vancouver and Nashville, I don't know if Gally, you saw this rap video that he was talking about with the Canuck fans. Did you see that?
I didn't.
It was so bad. It was so bad. So I'm going Panthers in 6, or not Panthers, Predators in 6. Like I said earlier, they've been humming pretty good in the last couple months. So I think they're going to carry that into the playoffs. After that, Kings and Oilers. Connor McDavid, I think he's going to do it. I know the Kings, I don't doubt the Kings, but I do a little bit. I don't like the Kings. So you know what? Edmonton in 5. Kings get 1 lucky game, and that's about it. Moving on to the East, Panthers and Tampa Bay. You can guess who I'm going to pick. This is the Battle of Florida. And again, I think, like Gally said, Matthew Tkachuk is going to come out for playoff time. He had a pretty slow season this year, but I think he's ready, and the Panthers are out for blood. So Panthers in 6 for me. Now, Bruins and Leafs. My heart wants to say Boston because I really don't like the Leafs. I don't really care for Boston either, but I think this year, Boston is not my reasoning for my pick here. I'm going to pick Toronto. My reasoning is last year the Bruins were really good and they haven't gotten any better this year. They're not a better team than they were last year, and they blew it. The Maple Leafs, though, are a better team than last year, just on paper and how we've watched them. Goaltending's still a little shaky, but that's why I'm picking the Maple Leafs. They are a better team, and I'm going to go with them. Next one, Rangers in 5. Pretty simple. Love the Caps. Love Ovi, but sorry. You squeezed in. Good job. Good try, but the Rangers in 5. After that, Carolina and Islanders. Although I have been shitting on them for a long time, the Islanders being boring, I'm going to stick with that. So Carolina in 7. It's going to be a tough series, though. But those are my picks. Last one on here is Diego, so we're going to let his play. Then we're going to give you guys – actually, we still got to fill out our bracket challenge for the Good Old Hockey Podcast, and then we'll send it out of here. But here's Diego.
We're going to make the picks for the Good Old Fashioned Hockey Podcast. I am the number 1 hockey fan in the bracket challenge. If you want to follow these picks, guaranteed winners. First, I'm just going to roll with McDavid, going Oilers over Kings.
Good old fashioned.
McDavid, he's really, really good. Not better than Gretzky, though, and never will be. Keep it in the Western Conference. I got the Canucks over the Predators. I think the Canucks, I know they're doing okay this year. I know they have that one guy who left. And they don't really like that one guy who left. He's somewhere on the East Coast. Who knows? Then I got the Stars winning over the Golden Knights. Sharks fan. Don't like the Golden Knights, so we're going to roll with Pavelski. And then we're going to go to Winnipeg Jets over the Avalanche because I love the video of Chris Jericho going, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot." So that's the reason. And now we're going to do the Eastern Conference. In the Eastern Conference, first I have the Florida Panthers winning. I have the Florida Panthers winning because people in group chats won't shut up about Matthew Tkachuk or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but apparently he's supposed to be really good, and he was fighting a lot this year. Then I think the Leafs finally get over the hump. Got to go Leafs. But it's kind of a win-win because if the Leafs don't win, then it's just really funny to watch that meltdown on Twitter with Leafs Nation. Leafs Nation rise up. Then, I got the Washington Capitals winning. Hockey, sometimes it's weird, but I think the Capitals win. It's just always weird in hockey. They barely got in, so we're going to go to the Capitals. And then, last but not least, I got the Hurricanes over the Islanders. I think both New York teams are going to lose. I like the Hurricanes because it's just random. It's just the hockey playoffs. It's just random, so we're going to go a team from Carolina. So those are my picks. Guaranteed wins, too, from I'm number 1 hockey fan, baby. I watch a lot of this stuff. Guaranteed winners. Those are my picks for the first round.
All right, Diego, thank you. that was awesome.
And I just realized that I didn't really give my game series. So if you guys are interested, just look at my bracket.